Hey everyone. Hi Capricorn. Okay, so anyone new to Opal Oracle, welcome. Very nice to have you here. Anyone returning, hi. Now, a small announcement before we begin. There's a few little things. One is the crow has come back. Okay, crow is starting to show itself again. It basically has disappeared ever since Saturn's been in retrograde, or from what I can gather. Not that it doesn't exist, it's just hasn't been as prevalent, right? But I see that it showed back up today. A whole murder of them flew over me, okay? And I tried to record your reading last night. And honestly, it was challenging in the way of actually expressing how it is that you were feeling, okay? Like being able to verbalize it accordingly, Capricorn. Especially those, well, I think it's for any aspect of Capricorn in your chart, but you know, Sun, Moon, Venus, Saturn, wherever it is a bit restrictive, you know, constrictive. Great teacher though. If you learn the lesson, then you'll never have to learn it again. Now, speaking of learning lessons and Saturn, right, karma, there are 8, technically right now there are 8 aspects in retrograde, okay? Pluto, Neptune, Mars, Mercury, Saturn, right? So, thank you for any of you who supported the decision to take a minute, okay, and reflect. And I hope that those of you that are still here took advantage of that. Because honestly, all the readings during this month, even the ones that I've been able to record thus far, are all referencing previous readings, okay? So it really is important about going back. Not to like wallow in it, but just to, because what do we attach to the past? We attach, there's a memory attached to the past, and what is that? It's Leo season, we're in the ego, so the ego is attached to the story of whatever that energetic connection is, you know? And whether that person attached to the story is you or you and someone else, whatever it is, it's just, well, stepping out of that. And I heard maturing, you know? Now, lastly, in ways of maturity and karma and storylines and things like that, it's been told to me to share with everyone, and so I shall. And it's been coming to me for some time, but I wanted to make sure, and it basically came to a head. Okay, tarot is no joke, okay? This is a very serious divination tool. It's been around so long that no one even knows really where it came from, okay? It's not child's play. It is not meant to be used excessively, okay? You got to think about it. This internet, right? Neptune and Pisces. Everything's imaginary and delusionary, and it's all, you know, Neptune rules the media, okay? Now we're here, now we're not. You know, and you don't really know what's true or not because they invented like reality shows and all this kind of jazz, right? It's 4:44 right now. You know, it's Pisces. So the point is that there are 2 questions for everyone, question statements. One is, if the internet went away Tomorrow, what would you do? How would it affect you overall? Your work, your regular life, whatever, your contact with people. Think about it, okay? Because we all existed long before the internet was here. Well, most of us. And those who haven't, I honestly feel a little... I heard I feel sorry for you. And I felt... But I didn't feel it. I just heard that. That's like something you would say. Like, oh, I feel sorry for you because of that. But remember, humans are very adaptable. I do think that it's very important, regardless of what generation you're from, to separate yourself from technology, okay? Now, because there's such an excess of information and tarot readers, I'm sure many of you watch many tarot readers, okay? Probably too many, honestly. And if I'm one of the ones that need to be taken off your list, then fine, so be it. You know, like, but just understand who it is that you're vibing with and whether that's actually helping or hindering you. It's really important, okay? You have to decide for yourself. Because if we're just binge watching things, right, instead of having a conversation with whoever it is that we actually want to have a conversation with, whether that's our own heart or our family or our children or our husbands or our exes or whatever, you know, usually it's because we need to have a conversation with God. But the point of the story is that the second half of this is that you should really have a notebook, okay, and take note of what is being told to you, okay? You'll know by what the tarot reader is saying whether it is helping or hindering you. If it's just validating your ego or not, okay? Now, of course, if you're completely submerged in the ego, you probably won't be able to tell, because that ego either wants you to be always unhappy or always perfect, right? Because it's like super shadow. All right, that's that. Because it concerns me. Not me as an individual, but just overall. Overall. All right, Capricorn for August. Oh, I had this vision for you last time when I recorded you of these like broken, they're kind of like scratched up sunglasses on the side of the road. But there's like a sidewalk. So, but it's not, it's kind of a main drag, but not, I can't really tell. Just one pair of sunglasses. They're black sunglasses. Capricorn. Just a minute, please. This one didn't want to turn over. It's a lighter reading, Capricorn, than the last one. You have two cards that are the same that came out. These two were in the other reading. But I think what it is that you're making a boundary about it, about something distinctive. Like you're making a boundary within yourself about your shadow, okay? When your shadow wants to come in, how big your shadow wants to be, okay? Whether you actually feel, like what happens when you feel safe, loved, protected, what happens when you do not feel safe, loved, or protected. Because I am pretty sure that when a Capricorn does not feel safe, loved, or protected is when, like, Well, I heard rage comes in. Right? And I just saw a billy goat, like, picking up another animal in its horns and, like, throwing it off the mountain. Because something tried to come up to, like, attack it. But I don't know if it was trying to actually attack it. I think it was just trying to go up there. Now, it's hot today. I know, it's hot in your other reading too. But there's something about the heat for you that's good, okay? No matter where you live, I sense you should get sunshine. If you have a sauna near you or hot spring, you should go to it. You know, something about that. Release the parts of you like shedding old skin, you know? Hair holds memory, like brush your hair, you know, or at very least cleanse it. You don't have to cut it off to cleanse it, you know. That's an interesting statement for you to consider. You don't have to cut it off to cleanse it. Okay. A lot of cups here, like last time. Just a minute. Well, I see for a lot of you, well, you've been doing the same thing for a very long time. Okay? So long that you almost, and I sense that you're going to start shifting this somewhat. You're going to become more in tune with your body a little bit more. Your emotional state, like, where you're not ignoring the signs so much. Okay? Like, before there's a reactionary process, it's like you're able to emotionally communicate correctly so that you can actually get what you want instead of putting yourself in a position of, oh, I wish I didn't say that, or, you know, just going into this, this is all along the bottom of your reading. 8 of Cups, 6 of Cups, 5 of Cups, for those of you who are blind. Okay, baby. I think it goes back to what I was saying about the story before. You got 2 kings here. You know what I mean? You know, I've been talking about this for a long time, but it's important, okay? We don't have to dwell upon it, but until it's fixed, then collectively we'll stop talking about it. But specifically, Capricorn, your 10th house, although 4th house to me also rules the father, but 10th house is the father, okay? Maybe for some reason or another with these 2 kings here, you're having some sort of higher understanding to your level of positivity, how it is that you communicate your independence and your emotional state sort of comes from your father. Okay, there's a lot of elements here. The only thing, you have no swords here. But more cups than anything, it's like you have your father's emotional response. You have your father's emotional maturity level. Okay, whatever that means. And I sense in a way that you're starting to sense that as well. And that's good. I mean, we come to that realization, right? You're like, dude, I'm totally acting like that is so something my mom would say. You know what I mean? Or like, oh my God, am I being my dad right now? You know, because it's ego season, it's Leo. Because sometimes we either have like an unhealthy, like obsessive conflict. I feel like people are either obsessively like in love with their parents in like a Freudian way, or there's like this complete disconnect. It's very rare that it's normal, you know? It's very rare that it's normal. You also have the Emperor on the bottom here, the Two of Cups underneath that. You know, who's in charge, I heard. Now, because most of the viewers are female, I will say there's a lot of kind of masculine energy here. Okay, you are a masculine sign, so it's important also to balance that. Now, of course, if you're the male, I see that you actually need to talk, everyone, male or female, people need to talk about their feelings. I do see males specifically, like not, these two, out of all the kings, these two don't say anything at all, really. I mean, look, he's so passive, and he's kind of like, I have a meeting. I'll be back at, you know, put it in my book. Like, both of them are kind of like, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later, I'll do it later. And they're in between this. I'll do it later, I'll do it later. So, of course, we can talk about this being someone else, but this is also a reflection of you. So, like, how do you push aside how it is that you feel? When it is that you're supposed to have a conversation about something, specifically something that doesn't make you, that you know is upsetting you, that you know is conflicting to the way that you want to move forward. I mean, I see for some of you, you were involved, and now that you're not, like you're single now, and that makes you sad, in a way. But I think you're attached to the story of whatever that was. Okay, the story of family in some way or another. Like, again, what is that supposed to mean? You know, I heard, did I get what I deserved? Yes. Yes is the answer to that. You always do. We always do. Even the most brutal life, in some way or another, if you believe in energy, in karma, what have you, well, whatever happens to you is something that you did to somebody else at some other point in time. The more that we come to that recognition and step out of the ego, then we can succeed. Stop seeing ourselves as so different and so separated from Mother Nature. From everything, everything. Now, I mean, you have the King, for your element, you have the King and the Nine of Pentacles on the board, okay? That shows me your money is fine. I also see two separate people here. One person has one, and another person has a whole bunch. Okay? Specifically, I see the masculine has less, the female's gaining more. The feminine is gaining more. And I also see that the earth is turning into water, which is good. I see that it's really important during this time for you to communicate where it is that you stand, what it is that you want. I feel like you think that you go round in circles emotionally. That's what I heard. Like no matter what you do, you end up back where you were. I want to see about this 8. Yeah, you got to talk about what it is that you love, your heart. What do you love in your heart? What does your heart love? What does it want? Where is it still hurting? And why do you always feel like if you keep coming back around to the same spot, but it's your path, right? It's your path, it's no one else's path. Well, if something repeated, then, well, you're the only one walking that. So I guess there's a lack of awareness in a way, but there doesn't have to be. I sense that if you pick your chin up, you'll start to see the road signs a little bit better. You'll start to not be taking things as face value and waiting a second and figuring out like, okay, what does this actually mean? You know? I also see some of you sort of befriending your exes in some way. Or just viewing it as successful, like whatever those exes were in the past. Whoever it was that you were so entangled within. Well, I guess now and in the past, wherever this entanglement is, I see that you free yourself. Okay? But you probably won't completely free yourself until like November. Jupiter's in Scorpio still, take advantage of that, okay? Yeah. Look what the card's just flipped over like a feather. I also heard, what's your situation with your mom? Like, or the idea in the story attached to mom. Those of you who don't use that word, your mother, your madre, mama, however you want to call it. You know, whether you're a parent, you're a mother, you have the mother of your children, whatever that is. What does that mean? There's something about that. And that goes back to the ego, too. And I sense that that ego goes away, which is cool. Because you gain a new kind of, yeah, it's like a whole new, just so vibrant. You know? Like gain a new spark. Because I sense in a way, the readings for Capricorn, and I know Capricorn, the readings have been kind of like heavy and dull, which is sort of Saturn-like, you know? I was saying in here, the reading, like, it was really funny. It said, you're not a library sign, you know, because you're not. You're ruled by the devil, you know? Like, it's not all your readings are going to be like, la-di-da-di-da. It's going to have like a physical, because it's Earth, it's Saturn, it's going to have a physical reaction for you to react to, okay? Something tangible happens, you have to react to it. So like, as an example, those who, you know, you become defensive about something, right? Well, why? What for? Perché? If it isn't the case, why are you mad? Right? And that's what maturity is. You know, there's a big old difference between being a page and a king. What level of maturity do you want? And I see that the more that you figure out your father's energetic levels and how you connect with him, emotionally, energetically, within your memory, I see that all the swords are gone here. So maybe you, I don't know, maybe you're working it out in a backwards way. But really, I see that it affects your relationship so much. So much. But I sense that, again, you'll be cutting, it's like you'll just cut that off. You know, whatever that confusion is, it'll be gone. If you put in the work, okay? If you don't put in the work, you have to know how powerful you are, Capricorn. Okay? Anyone who lies, look which way this guy's going. He thinks he's getting away with something. Look where he's going. This is you. Okay? But I think what it is you lying to yourself that you're not able to begin again with something. Because you're the third decan. Whatever you've been doing, you want to stick with it. But you don't, you know, and the thing is just because you're earth doesn't mean that it's always physical. How do you feel? You know, you're stressed out. You don't know how to let go of that energy. How do you let go? Well, you become the page and then you become the king. This king is not going to carry, nor is this page going to carry all these wands. He'd have somebody else do it for him. Or he'd figure out, like, okay, I can carry one at a time. Logical. I know July was hard for you, okay? July made you look at yourself. And it was uncomfortable, right? That's why a lot of you got pissed. You want to look at it. But the thing is like you have to look at it. If you don't look at it, then you're lying to yourself. And you have to put in the work. And I see that you have the ability to do that. And I see that the work that needs to happen during this time is, again, what is the story? What is the story of your father? You know? Sorry, it is so hot. And I'm Armenian, so I'm just greasy. What is the story of your father? You know, sit with that for a little bit. And how are you like your father? And what are the parts that you don't like? Okay? And how does he express emotion? Both these cards, look at this. Both these cards were out earlier, 5 and 6 of Cups. This just came out. Okay? It's important to know that because you're carrying that energy. You know, and it doesn't matter how old you are. Okay? It's about when we die, having our soul and a feather, our heart and a feather, be a turkey vulture feather, be the same weight. Okay, Libra. Aries, you're born. Libra, you die. That's the whole horizon. Okay, sunrise, sunset, sunrise, sunset. Yeah, this is important. This fiery energy. Which one do you want? And again, you have to face it. But once you're there, look what happens. Look what you turn into. This card was also on the table and I just split the deck. Look at that. Look, this sun was also on the table and I just split the deck. Okay? You're going to be just fine. Just looking at it. It's good to look at it. If you don't look at it, you can't close out the cycles. You just sit with all this. How are you getting anything done like that? You know? You're not. That's no fun. Look what it just did. That's no fun. What's that one? That's no fun either. Right? But I see that you can fix it. But you see it wanted to creep out again, right? Just doesn't want to let go of something, a way of thinking about it. Because you actually have to let go. This sword, this is from God. Okay? It is, be lucky in a way that you're not an air sign, okay? Air signs got it even tougher, I would say even tougher maybe than you do. Because you actually get to hang on to things. They don't get to hang on to anything. Okay? Their world is invisible. They live in an invisible world. How would you feel about that? Okay? Having to wield this sword. It's strong and it's heavy, and I know it's not your element, but you can do it. Yep. You can do it. You can. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4. I don't know the rest of that song. How does that go? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, something about the door. Anyway, Capricorn. Any of you still here? Thank you. I hope this helped. Happy August, or at least have a good time with it as much as you can. Take it easy, you know. It's, again, there's 8 freaking planets in retrograde. Like, it's just a lot. And it's okay to take it easy. It's okay to examine the stories of what we attach to our ego. You know? Because at very least, if we can sort of psychologically, like, attend to something, then that's letting God know that, well, that we're ready to change. You know, and then we start having things that come to us that support that decision, because it is for our highest good, right? And anything that has happened or is happening is because it's supposed to. You asked for it. In some way or another, you asked for it. So appreciate it. Thank your lucky stars. And then get ready for the next 18 years. All right.
I'll talk to you later, Gator. Bye.